successfully launched the world's first quantum satellite in an effort to establish hack-proof communications between space and the Earth. The satellite, nicknamed Messius, after an ancient Chinese philosopher and scientist. It will be used in tests planned to prove the viability of quantum technology to communicate over long distances. The satellite uses photons to send encryption keys necessary to decode information. Scientists expect quantum communications to change human development in another 20 to 30 years. Officials say developing the new technology is a major goal for Beijing, which included it in its most recent 5-year plan.
Mourning, anger, grief, fear and desperation. These are the best words to describe the ongoing unrest in the Indian-administered Kashmir. The entire valley appears to be abandoned and disconnected from the rest of the world. Weeks after the deadly bloodshed, the United Nations has finally broken its silence, calling on India and Pakistan to grant it access to both parts of the valley.
Of course, the condemnation is not enough. We expect more and more international groups to come forward and condemn the use of these heinous weapons which the Indian state is using against the people of Jammu and Kashmir. We are hopeful that now the international community will wake up and shun its prejudice towards the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
The UN's High Commissioner for Human Rights, Zaid Ra'ad Al Hussein, has deeply regretted the United Nations not being granted access to Kashmir. The body wants to independently interview victims, witnesses and security forces, given the seriousness of the allegations of an excessive use of force by Indian security forces.
They misusing these powers, the draconian powers they have given. They are killing the innocent people, the non-combatant Kashmiri, for the awards and rewards they're getting from the government.
On the other hand, India has turned down Pakistan's willingness for opening dialogue on Kashmir. They rather insist on holding talks about cross-border terrorism. Activists describe New Delhi's offer as lack of sincerity to solve the issue. Clashes erupted in Kashmir in early July after the killing of a popular pro-freedom fighter by Indian forces. Since then, over 65 people have been killed and more than 6,000 injured in clashes between the protesters and Indian forces. In the recent weeks, New Delhi has constantly prevented UN's access to turmoil-ravaged Kashmir Valley. This has raised questions about India's seriousness and sincerity in solving the dispute between India and Pakistan over Kashmir. Activists fear if the situation persists for long, Kashmir could plunge into a civil unrest. Shana Bhatt, Press TV, Indian-controlled Kashmir.
Everybody else?
What happened last night was a perfect example of good police work and a sobering reminder to all of us of the dangers that officers face on a daily basis. There are emboldened offenders in some of our communities that think it's okay to shoot at the police with an illegal gun from a car you stole at gunpoint, that you plan to use to shoot another person while you're on parole. What does that say about their fear of being punished for their actions?
There are damage assessment teams working in the area. They have not come up with any numbers as of this time. We just want to make sure that people who are in the mandatory evacuations are leaving their homes. It's definitely a safety issue, and we're asking you as a matter of the safety of your life. And the sheriffs are checking consistently, but I understand that people are still not leaving. So we want to make sure that they do go.
We are here at base camp of the Blue Cut fire that broke out in the San Bernardino area a few days ago. Actually just got off the line. We worked all the night shift at the head of the fire. The guys we relieved last night had been on the fire line for 36 hours. You know, they were tired. We keep cots on our brush rig. We have personal tents, and so you're going to set that stuff up if you do get some downtime. We have some chairs that we could sit in for a little bit of
A police
R&R.
officer was wounded in a wild shootout caught on camera in Chicago.
The police were chasing a suspected carjacker when that man opened fire. The bullet came through the officer's windshield and grazed his face. The suspect was arrested after losing control of the stolen SUV. He's already a convicted felon who was on parole for armed robbery.
The flames are relentless.
This is the biggest flare-up we see so far this morning.
The Blue Cut fire still out of control, once again coming dangerously close to homes and a major freeway. Fueled by intense winds, crews are still trying to keep the fast-moving fire from devouring more dry brush.
Get a line stretched out here. If it starts bumping us this way, shelter behind this building.
Right now, CAL FIRE saying it's charred over 31,000 acres. Numerous homes have been destroyed, 34,000 still in jeopardy. In San Diego, firefighters attack another wildfire by air.
We had roughly 2 minutes to get out of the house. That was it. Just 2 minutes to grab whatever you can and go. You got to go. And they were yelling. Sheriffs are screaming at us, get out now.
That one around 50% contained. To the north, the Clayton fire is also slowing down. Around 4,000 people in the area north of San Francisco returning home.
No word here on when the evacuation orders will be lifted, but when it is, many people hoping that this isn't what they come home to. In West Cajon Valley, Danya Backus, ABC News.
A family in Kansas devastated after random gun violence left 2 children dead. 9-year-old Jayan Ogu and his cousin, 8-year-old Montel Ross, died early Saturday morning. A barrage of bullets came into their home in Kansas City. After Jaden was hit, the bleeding boy went to his 12-year-old brother in bed and held on to him. Jaden died in his brother's arms.
But what can I say to him? Because he actually held him. He held his cold body, you know what I'm saying? How do I teach my son to cope with that? And I can barely cope with it.
Still no word on a possible motive behind the shooting. Police are asking for the public's help to find the gunman involved.
East of Los Angeles, more than 1,500 firefighters are facing walls of fire 80 feet tall. Hot, dry gusts are whipping up fire tornadoes across brush brittle from drought. It's not known how many homes in San Bernardino County were torched, but more than 80,000 people have fled their neighborhoods. Carter Evans is there.
The air assault on the most stubborn part of the fire is relentless. Drop after drop, and the flames keep coming back. Even tiny embers could be catastrophic.
You're looking at the head of the fire right now, and firefighters want to keep it on the hill here, moving this direction. What they don't want it to do is jump across the road.
As we get the wind, that has potential to carry embers and unburned vegetation.
Battalion Chief Mike Brown says the fire behavior he's seen over the last few days is extraordinary.
Spotting ahead of itself by 300 and 400 feet, fire whirls that look like tornadoes. Fire behavior that, as firefighters, we read about, we train about, but to actually see it was truly amazing.
As the Blue Cut fire roared through desert towns, residents had just minutes to flee. Hundreds of large animals were rescued and brought to this evacuation shelter. Abel Flores is still looking for his horse.
A home could be replaced, but not human life or an animal that you love.
Some normalcy has returned. Trucks are once again rolling on Interstate 15. They've been trapped since the fire began, costing up to $1 million a day in economic losses. And rail traffic is also moving again. Among the homes and buildings burned to the ground, the Summit Restaurant, an icon along Route 66, say former owners Cecil and Deborah Stevens.
We've been through a lot of storms and car accidents coming through the restaurant, but this time we didn't make it.
A lot of history here. We're told Elvis Presley and John Wayne once dined where I'm standing. As for this fire, well, the wind is beginning to pick up again, and that makes it challenging for firefighters. Scott, those hazardous red flag conditions, well, they're expected to continue into the night.
Amazing pictures of devastation. Carter, thank you very much.